Skinny guy. He don't tell me his diet. I need this. Now the same way. Before I was lightweight, you heavyweight. Now I'm like heavyweight, he is welterweight. Crazy.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
It is no secret that the UFC's management and fighters do not always agree on everything. Things are sure to get rocky between fighter salaries, contracts, fight responsibilities, and marketing. Some difficulties are well known to the general public, while others require time to arise. These concerns may result in an exchange of words or acts that are just plain rude. Fighters who feel mistreated by their leadership, Dana White, whether knowingly or not, may develop grudges, strained relationships, and just nasty back and forth. Do you think Dana White's fighters are comfortable with what the leadership is doing? That's why in today's video we will talk about how Dana White treats his fighters. You know what? Let's start with number 10, Francis Ngannou.
Francis, congratulations on defending your title.
The newly crowned heavyweight champion did not have to wait long for problems to arise with the UFC. Ngannou already had troubles building up to his rematch with Stipe, having to wait out while Miocic and DC finished their series. Ngannou was finally ready to be an active champion after earning his heavyweight title. He was asked to headline the UFC 265 in Houston, but he was unable to do so due to travel concerns. Instead of seeking a substitute headliner in another division, the UFC chose to go with an interim title between Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis. The champ had recently fought at the end of March, and the formation of an interim championship was a smack in the face to the heavyweight champion, given the length of time he had to wait until UFC 260. Number 9, Stipe Miocic.
Wait, can you explain the thought process there?
My dude. That dude respects me, I respect him.
The heavyweight champion seems to be destined to collide with the authorities at some time. The challenger was actively promoted in the lead up to his first match with Francis Ngannou. Highlights featured Ngannou's recent knockout of Alistair Overeem, and President Dana White bragging about Ngannou's strength and comparing it to getting struck by a Ford Escort. To add to the disrespect, Miocic started as a betting loser, and nothing was spoken about the likelihood of the heavyweight champion breaking the title defense record with a victory against Ngannou. The UFC seemed to be ignoring Stipe in order to capitalize on an Ngannou championship reign. Stipe would take Ngannou into the final rounds of the battle and win a unanimous decision. To express his displeasure with the leadership, Stipe would take Dana White's belt and give it to his coach to wrap around his waist. Number 8, Amanda Nunes.
So now I'm back here to get my title back Saturday.
When it comes to champions being devalued through marketing, the beginning of Amanda Nunes' championship run is a great example. At UFC 207, Amanda Nunes was scheduled to meet Ronda Rousey. The greatest headline was unquestionably Rousey's comeback, but the UFC did little to promote its champion. The fight's marketing package highlighted Ronda's return to the cage and all of the obstacles she had to endure in order to face the public again. Amanda's path to the title, or what she brought to the table to establish herself as a deserving champion, were hardly mentioned, to the point that Joe Rogan took note and had to pump the women's featherweight champion. You know what's coming next? Number 7, Nate Diaz.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier were set to square off at UFC 230 at MSG. Both participants attended the UFC's 25th anniversary press conference to hype the fight and the UFC's return to New York City. UFC President Dana White announced at the close of the press conference that they have one last announcement before the lights go down, and a video started to formally announce Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz was observed exiting the press conference and afterward filmed telling reporters that the fight with Poirier might not happen after all. Nate already felt underpromoted and underappreciated by the UFC leadership. The Khabib vs. Conor announcement overshadowed Nate's expected comeback and was in fact the reason the fight never took place. Guys, trust me, this is the interesting part. Number 6, Chris Cyborg.
I don't care what she's gonna try to do, I just have to keep my focus, keep my plan.
Chris Cyborg's connection with UFC executives was already bad before he joined the organization. Dana White and Joe Rogan have both made negative remarks about Cyborg in the past, calling the fighter's appearance into question. Things were somewhat settled, at least in terms of business, for Cyborg to join the UFC. Cyborg began her UFC career by needing to lose weight to 140 pounds for catchweight fights, but ultimately she rose to the top of women's featherweight categories. She won gold, but the category never expanded beyond women's bantamweights, going up a weight class, and few true women featherweights. Ultimately met Amanda Nunes and was let off her contract, even though she headlined multiple UFC events. Cyborg's treatment and UFC run were terrible, particularly given that she is one of the best to ever do it. Number 5. Tyron Woodley.
The winner and new welterweight champion of the world.
The former welterweight champion had concerns with the UFC, believing he was never properly marketed. President Dana White would berate Woodley for his lack of activity in a fight after some of his performances, rather than commenting on how the differences in fighting styles between fighters may have resulted in a dull fight. Woodley's booking for Till was also rude and disrespectful, since the spotlight was on the English boxer rather than the welterweight champion. One of the most unusual displays of disdain occurred shortly after Woodley claimed gold. To promote Nate Marquardt's forthcoming fight with Tamden McCroy, UFC Fight Pass uploaded a film of the welterweight champ getting knocked out by Marquardt. The UFC seemed to be okay with undermining their welterweight champion to promote the 4th fight night. Number 4. Demetrious Johnson.
You tonight made history.
Demetrious Johnson, possibly one of the best MMA fighters of all time, has had issues with the UFC. Things took a turn for the worse due to Johnson's poor PPV sales, but things heated up when Mighty Mouse refused to face the bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. White and the UFC stressed DJ's low PPV sales, even threatening to make the fight whether DJ wanted to or not. The last nail in the coffin came after a split decision defeat against Harry Cejudo, when one of the best fighters in the world was traded for Ben Askren in an MMA transfer between promotions. Number 3. Gerald Meerschaert.
Gerald, congratulations, my friend, on a fantastic win.
Gerald Meerschaert and Khamzat Chimaev were scheduled to square off on September 19 of 2020 at UFC Fight Night 178. After the fight was signed, it was revealed that the UFC planned to double book Chimaev versus BJJ specialist Damian Maia only 2 weeks later. Gerald Meerschaert felt disrespected, as any boxer would, and predicted Chimaev would require more than 2 weeks to heal from their forthcoming battle. Unfortunately, as events unfolded, Chimaev would only need 17 seconds to dispatch Meerschaert. If agreements with Maia had not broken down, we may have seen a 4th Khamzat fight in 2020. Regardless, the UFC's treatment of the MMA veteran was disrespectful. Number 2. Tony Ferguson.
This technique, he got it! Tony Ferguson!
Tony Ferguson was forced to withdraw from his UFC 223 battle against Khabib Nurmagomedov due to a knee injury sustained while conducting media duties. He was quickly stripped of his interim championship, while Khabib and Al La Quinta fought for the undisputed crown, which the promotion took 15 months to deprive Conor McGregor of due to inactivity. As one can expect, Tony Ferguson was dissatisfied with the strip. Tony's championship run was outstanding, as he went from a 9-fight winning streak before competing for an interim title. Due to bad UFC scheduling and McGregor's inaction, his chance to become the undisputed champion was never provided to him. Now, to the last number, number 1, Mark Hunt. At UFC 200, Brock Lesnar defeated Mark Hunt by majority decision, relying on his strength and superior wrestling to overwhelm the Super Samoan. However, the decision was quickly reversed once Lesnar's drug test came back positive. After learning of Lesnar's positive drug test, Hunt went to sue the UFC, claiming the UFC waived drug testing in order to guarantee the Beast Incarnate participated at UFC 200. Mark Hunt argued that the consequences for failing a drug test were not harsh enough and that they were not enforced by the leadership. So guys, we publish new content every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell to get notified about our latest videos. There will be a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. All you have to do to get into the giveaway is to leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.